Genshin Impact has a problem, and that is its lack of 5-star male characters. But what happened? Why is there some drought of 5-star male characters? And why is HoYoverse being so, at times, inappropriate with their designs? Well, in today's video, we'll look to see why HoYoverse made decisions and what we can do to change it. Don't forget to subscribe and like it. Let's jump straight into it. Natlan, for the most part, has been a very good story. Of course, there could be improvements, but I believe the story wasn't bad. Writings, different terms, could be improved, but the overall basis of the story was interesting and kept me very entertained. But there is another problem with Genshin Impact that doesn't really revolve around the story as much, and that is the disappearance of male Genshin Impact characters. You see, 2024 for Genshin Impact has been a very low achieving year, with sales decreasing a medium amount to what they were last year. Could this be because Nowlin just wasn't as interesting for the rest of the player base, or is there a different reasoning? If I was thinking in HoYoverse's shoes, they must think something was wrong, or maybe the characters just weren't that interesting. And perhaps they thought that male characters, for some reason, were the problem and they need to switch only to female characters. But if you switch only to female characters, then all the female player base could just leave the game without seeing any hot singles in your area. And so they chose to make some or most of the male characters 4 stars and the female characters 5 stars. But I'm not just yapping, this has been true. Gaming, 4 star. Auroron, 4 star. Sethos, 4 star. All of these characters, especially Auroron, could be 5 stars. Auroron is such 5-star character energy, but for some reason he's not. And he does play kind of a big part in the Natlan story, but for some reason they just cast him aside and put him as a 4 star. But we have what I believe we can take as a proven source of information. Last year, before the release of Fontaine, a leaker gifted us some information about the coming events in Genshin Impact and what we can expect from HoYoverse in the future. One of the things that she said that Genshin Impact will no longer have a male character be the core character in any big version, and that there will no longer be as many 5-star male characters as there were in the past. So, in conclusion, it seems like Genshin Impact thinks we are a bunch of gooners that only want to fish for female characters and not for male characters. But I believe this is completely wrong, and I'm sure you also agree with me. But it's not just about the decrease of male characters, it's about the increase in massive amounts of fan service that characters have been getting, to a point that it feels like we are focusing more on fan service than the actual story that's happening in the game. And if you've been on the internet for the last couple of days, you would know there's been a lot of commotion about Mizuki being a very fan service character and Ether being in the bathhouse with Yaimiko in Bright in May. And this has caused a lot of crazy stuff to go down between the US players. For obvious reasons, because Ether is a boy. Why the heck would he be in a bathhouse with 2 girls? And while this is a cultural difference for us in the US, apparently in Japan, this isn't as weird, but for us it's still weird, and this is a perfect thing they can add Lumine in to switch Ether. Why does everything always have to be Ether? There are 2 main characters, and HSR handles this well with, in some promotional material, have Kalis or Stellar, or in some cases, like with Immortals, having both. But just using Ether makes it kind of weird for in certain moments like this, that you can easily add Lumine in and not have to deal with all this craziness that was going on. And getting on the topic of Mizuki herself, her ult is extremely fan service. I mean, I don't have to explain why there's so much fan service once she uses her ult. And this is an anime, and for some reason, anime always tends to have a lot of fan service, but it's starting to take over Genshin Impact and be way more than it has to be. Well, what could HoYoverse do to fix this problem? Well, I believe one of the most obvious things they could do is just look at the other games they already have created. HSR is a very, very good game and has a great balance of male and female characters. In fact, in Amorphosis, we are getting some of the greatestly written male characters I've seen come out of a HoYoverse game, and Genshin Impact was doing very well at this, but it seems like after Scaramouche, everything just fell down, and this is when this new game plan came in when we were going into Fontaine. But Genshin Impact has and HoYoverse has made banger storylines before. Fontaine was pretty good, Sumeru was amazing, but with Natlan, they are just messing up with these over fan service characters and no male characters being 5 stars, besides Kimich. But that will have to be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe and like. Thank you so much for all the support on my second to last video. It was so good. We got over 4,000 views on that video. So make sure to subscribe and like. And I will see you guys Starside.